So what is up, amigos? Hope you're doing awesome. What if Superman was never meant to be a warrior? What if he wasn't a god hovering above us, judging our every mistake, but someone who still saw hope in the people who keep breaking that hope every single day? It might sound naive in today's world, but James Gunn's Superman makes you feel exactly that. The movie walks into a chaotic world full of war, propaganda, greed, and helplessness, and yet somehow gives us a hero who refuses to give up on us, humans. And no, it's not in some preachy, over-the-top way. It's actually quite moving, because behind the cape, behind all those powers, there's someone who still remembers what it feels to be human. Now, this isn't just another Superman reboot. It's not even about the origin stories or build up to a big crossover. It's something else, something smaller, something softer, but much more important. There's a moment in this film that stayed with me. Not an action scene, not a twist, just a simple scene with a street vendor and Superman. And at that one moment, I felt like this wasn't about a superhero saving us. It was about reminding us why we should be saved in the first place. Now, speaking of which, one of the first things that strikes you visually is just how different this film looks. That's actually one of the first things you notice about this film, how colorful and alive it looks. Now, no hate to Snyder, but compared to older Superman films, the Zack Snyder's version of course, which had a darker and heavier visual tone, this one feels more open and welcoming. The skies are blue, the sun actually shines, and the metropolis doesn't look like a city drowning in gloom. It feels like a place worth saving. This use of brighter colors isn't just for show, it reflects the emotional shift. Superman is no longer a lonely alien trying to fit in. He's someone who already belongs, who sees the good around him, even if it's hidden under layers of mess. The VFX is also clean, the flying sequences are smooth, and the action is not overwhelming. Everything feels balanced. The movie doesn't try to impress with noise, it pulls you in gently. But beyond the visuals, it's the way this Superman behaves that leaves the strongest impression. This Superman is not angry. He's not in a hurry to punch someone into a building. He thinks before he acts. He looks into the eyes of his enemies and tries to understand them. And maybe that's the most heroic thing about him. He has all the power in the world, but he chooses restraint. And in that restraint, there is deep strength. There are moments where you expect him to react with violence, but instead, he waits, he listens, he hesitates. It's like he wants to make sure that no matter what he does, it doesn't take away someone's chance to be better. In a world full of superheroes who solve everything with a fist, this Superman is refreshingly human, almost more human than everyone else around him. And that's what makes him special. And what adds another layer to this version of Superman is the way the film talks about the world that we currently live in, but through fiction, of course. Now, this is where the film quietly becomes something more. Without directly naming anything, it paints a picture that feels very close to our real world right now. There is a country torn apart by years of violence and occupation. There is another country claiming to protect itself, but showing signs of control and domination. You get the hint, right? And then there are innocent people caught in the middle. Sounds familiar? Well, the film uses two fictional nations, Jahranpur and Boravia, but their situation feels eerily similar to what we see in the news today. It's done smartly, not forcefully, and the leader of Boravia is shown as someone who sees himself as a savior, but his actions feel more like control than care. The whole setup is clearly a metaphor, a way to talk about global politics, war, and power without saying it out loud. It adds a deeper layer to the story and gives Superman something more serious to deal with than just laser beams and space monsters. But beyond the big global conflicts, the film also focuses on something very small, very personal, and that's where Malik comes in. One of the most touching parts of the film is about a man named Malik. He's not rich, not powerful, not even important in the world's eyes. He's a simple street vendor, I believe selling hot dogs, but years ago when he was in trouble, Superman helped him. So when Superman is in trouble, Malik too helped him despite knowing that he doesn't have the powers. In the middle of all that chaos and conflict, he sees Malik again, and it's not just a reunion, it's a reminder that even when the world looks ugly, even when people are cruel, there are small moments of good that are still alive, and those moments matter. That's the kind of message this film quietly delivers. That spirit of kindness and memory of good brings us to the heart of what this film is trying to say. What truly sets the Superman apart is what he represents. This film doesn't doesn't focus on him being unbeatable. It focuses on why he wants to help. He isn't trying to prove anything. He isn't here to win. He's here because he still has hope. Hope that people can be better, humans can be better, that even when they mess up, they can learn, they can change, they can grow, and that innocence hasn't left him. And that's what makes this Superman so moving, at least for me. He doesn't give up. He still believes, and when you walk out of the theater, some part of you starts to believe too, not in him, but in the idea that maybe, just maybe, the world isn't as broken as it looks. And now before we wrap up, let's address something a few viewers might point out. Some people might feel that there isn't enough backstory for the characters, that there could have been more scenes showing their past, or that Superman didn't have a big dramatic transformation or elevation. But here's the thing, this film isn't about turning him into something else. It's about showing us who he already is. He doesn't need a tragic fall and then a rise. He doesn't need a flashy arc. He's already made his decision and now he's living them. It's a refreshing change because we have seen so many superhero origin movies and stories and over-the-top elevations. This time, it's not about becoming Superman. It's about being Superman, consistently, quietly, with kindness. That itself is the point. And while the character of Lex Luthor might not have too many long scenes, Nicholas Hoult plays him with a very grounded menace. He isn't loud or theatrical. He is calm, sure of himself, and believes he's doing the right thing. That quiet confidence makes him scarier than someone screaming about world domination. It's a good performance, especially for a film that's more focused on mood than monologues. Now, Lex Luthor, there's something that I wanted to say, is a tech billionaire who wants to own the world and also the space. It sounds eerily similar to somebody in the real world. A tech billionaire having the link to stars, wants to own the world and the space too. Well, if you've got the hint, leave the name in the comments below who you think I'm thinking. To bring these themes alive, the cast really pulls their weight in a grounded way. Now, quickly talking about the performances, David Corenswet plays Superman with calmness and heart. He doesn't overact. He doesn't try to copy anyone. He just plays him with sincerity. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane is sharp, quick, and caring. She isn't there to be saved. She's part of the fight, part of the soul of this world. Nicholas Hoult's Lex Luthor is again dangerous, not because he's loud, but because he's clever and believes he's right. James Gunn, as a director, clearly loves the character of Superman, but more importantly, he understands him. He gives the film a gentle pace. He avoids fan service overloaded and lets emotions lead the way, and that's why it works. So with all that said, why does this Superman matter now in 2025, if you ask me? In today's time, we are surrounded by stories of war, hate, and division, people losing faith in each other. Strength is often confused with anger, and somewhere in that noise, kindness gets lost. This Superman comes as a quiet answer. He is not loud, he is not angry, he is just hopeful, and that hope feels rare. That hope feels necessary, especially now. This movie is not perfect, but it's meaningful. It doesn't try to be the biggest superhero movie, it just tries to be the right one, and that makes all the difference. Because maybe, just maybe, what we need today is not a hero who fights harder, but a hero who still believes we are worth fighting for. Thank you for watching today. Like, share this video, comment what we talked about, and subscribe to the channel if you like such content. Take care, stay awesome, and bye-bye.